So this isn't a video I was looking forward to making. I was really rooting for the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, but unfortunately, at the time of this recording, the Baltimore Ravens have just been eliminated from the playoffs by the Buffalo Bills. This was an ugly game, it was a hideous game, and to be honest, everything and everyone honestly looked bad. Now I know a lot of people might be blaming Lamar. They say he could have played better, he threw a big pick six this game, but in my honest opinion, I think the bulk of this Ravens L and the Ravens season ending short mainly falls on the Ravens organization. I think they failed Lamar Jackson in multiple ways, and that's what we're going to talk about this video. I mean, think about it. Coming into the season, the Ravens had a great foundation. They had the youngest MVP ever. All they had to do was build around him, and this looked like it could be a Super Bowl team. So that said, in this video, we're going to discuss a couple of things. One, how the Ravens failed to get Lamar Jackson talent, in particular at the receiver position and offensive line position. Two, we're going to talk about Greg Roman's terrible play calling and terrible offense. And lastly, three, the future of Lamar Jackson with the Ravens. Now quickly before we dive into the good stuff, I need you guys to do a couple of things. One, like the video. Two, subscribe to the channel. Three, turn on notifications. I post sports videos almost daily. I don't want to miss a video. Now let's get into it. Alright, so how exactly did the Ravens fail Lamar Jackson? Now don't get me wrong, Lamar does have room for improvement, but I feel like him being such a young talent, the organization could have done a lot better putting him in a position to succeed and get better. So first up, we have the offseason. We knew in the offseason the Ravens needed a couple pieces. One, they needed a receiver. Two, they needed an O-lineman to replace Marshall Yanda. In Ravens fashion, they didn't replace any of those guys. So first up, the draft. This was one of the most talented drafts in recent years, and a lot of the rookie receivers from this draft just happen to be studs. Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Chase Claypool, Jerry Jeudy, Michael Pittman, all these guys, young, studs, showing promise, and the Ravens just didn't get any of them. What the Ravens did was they took Patrick Queen with their first round pick, then in the second round pick they got J.K. Dobbins. Now I know a lot of Ravens fans like J.K. Dobbins, they think he's a beast, think he's a stud, but if you look at the numbers and if you look at the statistics, the Ravens rushing attack didn't get any better with him. And I think I know why. The key to the Ravens rushing attack is Lamar Jackson. Teams focus on Lamar Jackson, they key on Lamar Jackson. I don't think you need a top 10, top 15 running back on the side of Lamar Jackson to really be productive in this offense. And that's also why I think Mark Ingram had a big year with Lamar Jackson. It's just a very easy system to run the ball in, especially when you think about how much the Ravens rush the ball. And again, when you look at the stats, the Ravens just flat out didn't get better with the addition of J.K. Dobbins. Now, with them not taking a receiver and with them not replacing Marshall Yanda, one thing we did notice this year is Lamar's passing game took kind of a dip. It didn't take a major dip, and you guys can look all of these stats up if you want, but two things that changed a lot for Lamar this year is one, last year, his MVP season, he was one of the most efficient quarterbacks out of empty backfields. This year, that wasn't the case. He was at the bottom of the pile. Now, I think this could be because he lost Marshall Yanda, and I don't know if you guys know this, but quarterbacks, sometimes they call out blitzes. We see Aaron Rodgers, we see Mahomes, we see a lot of QBs do this, but also veteran offensive linemen, they call out blitzers, they call out blocking assignments. I think losing Marshall Yanda was a big blow to this team that a lot of people don't talk about. Now, another stat that Lamar was just terrible in this year is throwing outside the numbers. Now, some people think this is because of arm talent. I think one, it's the scheme, and two, it's just the lack of talent at the receiver position. No disrespect to Hollywood Brown, but he's just not one of those guys that's going to constantly get open outside the numbers. Lamar needs a guy that can consistently get open on that sideline, make plays, make catches, similar to a Michael Thomas, Keenan Allen. He needs one of those guys. He needs a stud. And I hate to say it, but we saw a lot of that from this rookie crop of receivers. Chase Claypool was a beast on the sideline. Justin Jefferson looked like a 10-year vet out there. Oh, man. I feel like the Ravens, if they could have worked their way up in the draft, traded up, I really feel like they could have got just a crazy receiver this year. Now, quickly fast forward past the draft to the summer, AB was training with Lamar Jackson a little bit, and it was rumors they were going to bring in AB. I think AB might have even worked out with the Ravens, but again, the Ravens refused to get Lamar Jackson help on the outside, and they didn't bring in Antonio Brown, who signed for a little of nothing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This was an L. Now, of course, they eventually brought in Dez Bryant, but Dez Bryant, he's had a limited role in their offense. And as good as Dez Bryant was in his prime, he just isn't that big-time playmaker receiver he once was, so he just really wasn't a needle mover. So overall, one, I think management failed Lamar Jackson in the roster they built around him. I don't like it. Now, the second way they failed Lamar Jackson is in the coaching, and I know you Ravens fans can agree with me. The play calling is just terrible, and I don't like it, and I think it's a recipe for disaster. So one, teams know what's going on. The Ravens are gonna run the ball a lot. They're gonna run it up the gut a lot, and Lamar's gonna hand the ball off a lot. And we see teams honestly just blitzing, crashing down, playing crazy aggressive, man on the outside, and teams are okay living with the Ravens receivers in man coverage. That's not good, that's bad. That's how you know you have a weak receiver core. And then if you want to take it a step further, play design. The Ravens play design, it's caveman, it's archaic, it's a college offense. I don't know what Greg Roman is doing, but he has to be on the hot seat. I think he honestly is holding Lamar Jackson back, and he's honestly holding the Ravens back. I don't think I'm jumping the gun on this, but I don't think the Ravens can go far and win a Super Bowl with this college offense. I think we need to see if Lamar can run a legit pro offense, and honestly, I think he can, but if he can't, the Ravens need to see that, because Lamar is going to be ready to get paid very soon. He might be ready to get paid this offseason, so he could be too late. But I think best case for the Ravens, one, they have to get rid of Greg Roman. Two, they got to get Lamar Jackson a receiver. And three, we got to see what he could do with some talent around him, man. I think all those old takes of Lamar Jackson being a running back at quarterback, I think that's dead. I think it's not fair. I think he's just in a really, really bad offense, and Greg Roman has to go. Ravens fans, talk to me, man. One, what do you want this offseason? Two, how do you feel about Greg Roman? And three, how do you feel about Lamar Jackson, man? Because I don't know, man. I feel like Greg Roman set him up to fail. Even today, that pick six he threw it to the middle of the field. Everybody knows Lamar only throws towards the middle of the field because that's where his weapon is. That's where his tight end is. He doesn't have any weapons on the outside. He doesn't have any reads to make on the outside, so it's an easy pick six. It's easy work. You can't go far in the playoffs. You can't consistently win playing football like this. You honestly can't. To be honest, I think I'd only like this offense if it was Lamar Jackson and Alvin Kamara, or Lamar Jackson and Saquon Barkley. But that's never going to happen. So I think the Ravens expeditiously need to get Lamar Jackson out of this offense and into a pro offense so they can gauge what they have. I don't think they can really gauge what they have without seeing him in a pro offense. But there you have it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, sound off again. One, who do you think the Ravens should draft this year? What do you think about Lamar Jackson? And what do you think about Greg Roman? I'll see you guys for the next one. Take it easy. Peace.